Namaskar. I'm Kumar Rakesh and you're watching Global Governance News TV. And we are going to discuss today the Taliban ISIS and the USA. How just USA just reacted after the attack of ISIS at Kabul airport. We've already seen all and this how the terrorist group actually and how situation you have seen the after fighting each other or the for 20 years the US and Taliban are suddenly finding their interest aligned against a common enemy, but their own bloody history stand in the way of eliminating the threat. As we have seen, the blast at Kabul airport late Thursday, which killed 13 US service members. And this more than 60 Afghans showed the world terrorist risk emanating from Afghanistan as American troops prepare to leave next week by 31st August, last day. After attack, President Joe Biden voted to strike against the extremist group ISIS while explaining why the US is cooperating with the Taliban on the evacuation. It's in the interest of Taliban that in fact ISIS does not metas, metastasize beyond that. What is Biden said when asked why the US depended on its long-time adversary to secure the perimeter of the airport. He added, "It's not a matter of trust; it's a matter of the mutual self-interest." But the worldwide, that criticism against Joe Biden also, just to have seen, and after that, how they reacted. Later, the U.S. Taliban cooperation will continue beyond the evacuation. White House Press Secretary Chen Psaki said, "I don't want to get ahead of where we are. The situation is awkward for both U.S. and Taliban. Each side wants to prevent Afghanistan from turning into a key staging ground for Islamic State fighters to plot global terrorist attacks. But they also find it politically unpalatable, if not impossible, to cooperate. The world has seen how Taliban criticized the attacks on Kabul airport. This is so ridiculous. For the US, the Taliban's treatment of women and political opponents has both calls for the diplomatic isolation and the financial sanctions, and that only risk weakening the Taliban, emboldening rival Islamic extremists, undermining Biden's claim that the US accomplished its mission of rooting out terrorists in Afghanistan. At the same time, Taliban face a dilemma. They want good relations with the international community to stabilize the country, but cooperating with the US to fight Islamic State would spur a backlash that prompts more rank and file members to join more violent extremist groups. And situation is tough, not for the Taliban also, just for US also. How does Taliban, how their cadre will have the lost lives because of throwing out the US invaders? And this is also the Islamic State, the Khorasan local franchise. The group in Iraq and Syria was from largely defectors, as already President Biden already said in the statement, and so apprehension about the ISIS, the Tariq-e-Taliban and all. So ISIS is responsible for some of Afghanistan's most lethal attacks in recent years. And Biden on Thursday also would strike the assets, leadership, and facilities of ISIS militants at the place we choose. The moment of our choosing, he spoke out over the horizon capability to fight terrorism that didn't require a US troop presence in Afghanistan. So American success is enjoying that hinges largely on how far away the horizon is, as well as the strength of the local partners, according to William Wishler, a former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Special Operation and Command Terrorism. So there is also some how they see the U.S. partners more attacks. They have apprehended the U.S. forces helping advocate Afghans desperate to flee Taliban rule, but a lot of more attacks on Friday. and the White House said the next few days ongoing U.S. evacuation operation. The Pentagon has said that taken about the 100,000 people of Afghanistan in past 2 weeks are likely to be more dangerous. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said the United States believe there are still specific credible threats against the airport after the bombing at one of its gates. We certainly are prepared and would expect future attempts, Kirby told reporters in Washington last days, and where we are monitoring these threats very, very specifically, virtually in real time. So this is the situation. How just Taliban just criticize the ISIS, although both are the same. I think as we have analyzed the situation and how US reacted, and now US and Taliban on the same ground, being the 20 years both together. So I'll start this discussion from uh, Anita ji, and after that Vandana ji. So Anita ji, how do you see the situation? There's a tangle, the ISIS, Taliban, and USA.
I'm
You're
very
smiling.
surprised that American President
Hmm.
Mr. Joe Biden has said in his statement that we have found that there is no evidence against Taliban in Kabul bombarding. It's IS Khorasan who has done this suicidal attempt. So I I was surprised that how can a responsible country like America and who imposes itself as a boss of this world, the president of this that country is giving such kind of statement because we all know that Taliban is equal to ISIS, ISIS is equal to Al Qaeda, and Al Qaeda is equal to Jaish e Muhammad is equal to Hezbollah Mujahideen, and so and so and so, and all is equal to Haqqani. We all know. But Biden has said that, and Biden also said that we will not leave as Khorasan, and they have bombarded also. But there is a no single aggressive word against Taliban. US has not shown its anger. Even US was saying that there is the threat of IS during this transition and all that. Taliban was also aware, but neither American forces or NATO forces and agencies and nor Taliban has taken any preventive care to save the life. And that human suicide bomb has attacked and bombarded on Kabul airport, and many lives has lost, we all know. So first of all, the whole world should, I have said earlier also, Rakesh ji, that the definition of terrorism should be, if the definition of terrorism should be demarcated as a good terrorism and bad terrorism, it will always be the threat for the world. So we have to come on conclusion and create a concrete definition of a terrorism and come together to fight against this monster. Otherwise this monster will destroy this world. And
Okay.
if the one corner of this world is not happy, suffering from terrorism, and the other corner is the epicenter of that terrorism, and someone is protecting that epicenter, it means you are on the way to destroy this world, the humanity, and the life. That's all I want to say.
So nice. So, Vandana ji, just I have read all the statements of U.S. President Joe Biden and the White House spokesperson and the Pentagon spokesperson, how they are just reacting, given their version about the attack at Kabul. So, how just, but some, I think, protest also has been seen and some reaction globally after the Joe Biden statement and the action on ISIS. How do you analyze that sitting in America?
The Honorable President of United States of America, Mr. Biden, has said it. We will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and will make you pay. This looks like to be a Hollywood and a Bollywood dialogue, to be honest.
Hmm.
And on the ground zero report, like I'm just because we are talking to people in person, I just said that before also. We Americans look like a joke when we talk about in the world, like, because it is the biggest mockery. Evacuation had to happen because today, tomorrow, or yesterday, it should have been very well planned. You should not have left with all those sophisticated equipments what you had, and today you are claiming that, oh, they will not be knowing it how to operate. That itself, like, people are not buying these kind of statements about this attack. The question that you had, like, as Anita ji did mention, I just read somewhere, like, Taliban is a diet coke and ISI is diet Pepsi, so they are buy band to each other. Aisa kuch nahi hai, like, because they are all, means, we can just say the different brands. I mean,
Yeah.
how could that be? First of all, terrorism has no religion. That's the biggest joke of the
Yeah.
century so far. We are seeing what is the religion of terrorism, and the good terrorism and the bad terrorism. I mean, like, terrorism is a terrorism,
Yeah.
means, like, and radicals, like, the role they are playing, whom you are making. Are you thinking in today's time, is this generation which is 50 years ago who had no clue about it? Today, as you plan of doing things, artificial intelligence tells you before only. So don't think the people are stupid, like, people are aware of it. Like, actions louder than your speech. It is just giving in a speech in the White House from the Pentagon, and then coming, uh, because what you did, we know that. Because, and is this just the end of it, this Kabul? This is just the beginning, to be honest. We'll see many more coming. And then there'll be inquiries, but by the time I'm gone, you're gone, and we'll get to know who's being to be blamed about that. So that should not be there. The consensus has to be like the G7, G20, all these things which have been made, this consensus. So they should work on it. They should act on it. Let this be even US. I mean, like, they claim, so they have to put, when NATO came, NATO has supported all these people. I heard that day, Alok ji, he said, nobody says anything to America, all the European countries, they just, so this is the time. Because if you are putting your funds in, you have to ask,
Yeah.
you have to question,
Yeah.
because it is not that America only went there all by themselves. This was a collaborative effort. So do you question or no? Where is my money going? Like, here the taxpayers are like putting everything, means, like, and then people are saying, I know Anita ji that day said, oh, American businesses got the business back, like, money trail, like, because all the businesses which was happening. So I'm not, because we are not here. We are talking about, when you talk about the humanity in today's time, it should have been the most beautiful time of your and mine era,
Yeah.
means sisterhood and the brotherhood, to be honest. Because we should be live and let others live. But यहाँ तो हो रहा है, जीने तो दूंगा नहीं, जब तक मेरा मन होगा तो मैं जीऊंगा, सिर्फ मुझे ही जीना है. That is not going to happen, like, and I am like sitting here, but I am sorry, means what all is happening in the world. And then the empathy about, like, the other main worry about the people, those who are coming. We do have people in Chicago now, those who came from Afghanistan. So then what will happen? Welfare for them, who's going to pay? Again, we people, like the taxpayers ultimately. सरकार थोड़ी नोट प्रिंट करेगी, तो कोई भरेगा उसको. अब इंडिया में भी, I just saw one video somewhere, they're asking, they just landed, they're asking for a job for themselves. Thank you. So it is important. We should discuss, we should talk about it. We are just putting our thoughts, but this is somewhere somebody is watching, what we think about it. And um, let's Means we can't even say wait and watch, to be honest. That also looks
Yeah,
like action has
yeah.
to happen on time
Action.
basis.
So just Alok ji, just so nice just to welcome. Today, just Britain has announced that the evacuation process for the British has been all now ended and finished now, and US has also just maybe take the time whatever timeline was there. I think there is no timeline of the from the US front and Taliban. How Taliban is just Taliban and US just talking to each other in very old friends manner, as well as they were all not the friends, and I can't say the enemy also. Whatever situation is there, so, how do you analyze the situation? And just if you see the terrorist group in Afghanistan, so Haqqani Network, Islamic State Khorasan, and the Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, Eastern Turkestan Islamic Movement, and Tariq Taliban Pakistan, and Al Qaeda core, Al Qaeda in like these are all the terrorist group already active in the part of Afghanistan, and ISIS, ABCD, whatever they are, but they are all are one, as I think you can analyze. So how do you just see the Taliban is just trying to rule Afghanistan with the help of so many things and so many powers, as we have just seen, and what's the back and now. So in the whole situation after the attack, the Kabul airport, the new question has been developed. Do you think this will be sustained? One, and Taliban should be paralyzed by the US. Two, and third, what is the new equation after this attack on Kabul airport?
Thank you so much, Kumar Rakesh ji, and good evening to all the panelists. Today I'm going to take slightly longer than usual because we've been doing a lot of programs and we've been analyzing things that are happening, and they are happening in a way that it doesn't make sense to me. Nothing happens because it has to happen. It doesn't go like this. This is geopolitics. And there are lots of untold stories which are surfacing. And if they're not surfacing, especially if you look at the Indian press, the Indian press is, so sold out. I'm talking, I'm talking about those who get
Most of them, not all,
awards and all
most
that.
of
So they want to tell you a different kind of story. But if you scratch your head and you reanalyze, at times you have to revisit a place to see the minor details into it. So I have been doing that since morning, and I've come to this conclusion that this is not a communal tension. It is a regional tension where religion is being used for vested interest. So I'll be going into retrospective. We'll be reanalyzing what we've been saying here, and you'll see there is a new perspective to this. We all know that on 29th of February 2020, Khalmejiad, he was the representative of Trump's government who had a secret meeting with Mullah Biradar. And then this meeting was done. It was done in in Qatar. And it was agreed between Taliban and Americans that by 31st of May 2021, America would leave Afghanistan. And Taliban would not be attacking the American forces. That was the deal. Now, first of all, you have to see why this deal is being signed and why Taliban has been chosen. We'll be answering that thing. So then Trump loses his elections, Biden comes in, and Biden gets busy with other things. So Taliban reminds him and says, "Listen, we have done this. We have done this, and we are waiting for you to say something. If you don't do, then we go back on our original path." So now the deal was struck between Ashraf Ghani, and the plan was that he would resign, and then a new government would be formed in coalition with the Talibanis, where the Talibanis' participation would be larger than what the current democratic government has. Now, Ashraf Ghani, he has been painted as the person who deserted, who ran away, and he ran away with billions of dollars and I don't know what. But if you reanalyze this, it actually did not work like this. So what happened was that Galani, he thought that he's not going to resign. And why he's not going to resign? Because this is a war of ideology. So he says, no, I will stay here. I'll be the president. And then I have about 3 lakhs of, trained soldiers who's very well equipped with helicopters and whatnot. And that I'm going to stay and I'm going to fight the Taliban, who the Americans wanted to come and join the government. So when he refuses, now a problem starts for America. The problem is that if he's not going, then what do they do with Taliban? So then what they happened was in June 2021 in Doha, another meeting was held in which they said by September 11. Now we all know why September 11 comes in. And they said by September 11 you have to leave, otherwise we will start our old methodology. Now America has a problem that they thought that Ghani would be leaving whenever they want. He refused. Now they have a problem. So what they did was, so that Ghani cannot have the time to reorganize the army, the Afghan army, which was trained and they were ready to fight, they preponed for the surprise of NATO forces, all the European countries and other countries, they preponed the departure. That's the reason the departure date is 31st of August. So I'm trying to analyze why things are happening. There has to make some sense into this. Now, what happens is there becomes a situation. Now, Afzal Ghani, he had 2 negotiators who were negotiating, and that was Abdullah and the first president, which was appointed by Americans as well, which was Mr. Karzai. So now Mr. Karzai and Abdullah, they changed. They are no more supporting Afzal Ghani, and they decided to support Taliban. Now, until now,
it's Ashraf Ghani.
Yeah, Ashraf Ghani. Sorry.
Good. Yeah.
So they make, they decide to change sides, and now they're supporting Taliban under US pressure. So now where does Afzal Ghani leave? He has no other way to, he cannot do anything. He's been left alone, and he had no other option but to leave. Now he leaves, but he is an American stooge, and America refuses to give him, any place in the United States of America. So a story is floated that he's going to, whichever country, but finally it comes out that he is in UAE, and this is a fact. Now, what happens with this is the main leaders who were there, we are talking about at least 2 presidents there, they have sided with the Taliban, and so the Afghan army is left without a leadership. And while the time all this is happening, we have been noticing that there has been news that the Afghan army was not being paid the salary and all that, and that was because the paycheck was coming from the United States of America, and they stopped paying. So that was another way of pressurizing the Afghans, the Afghan government, that we are not going to pay, and if you're not going to pay, then first thing which the soldiers are going to look is how to take care of their families. So that was another way of debilitating the existing Afghan government. So I'm trying to find out why Taliban is suddenly become the blue-eyed baby of the Americans, and they want them in the government. Now, if you remember, Mullah Biradar, we know that his phone was
Alok,
yeah.
Just as a history, as you know, but I wanted from you how this new development of Taliban and US developed after the attack at the Kabul airport on the Thursday. Today is Saturday. Within
What
2
I'm
days.
trying to establish, I've understood your question. What
Yes.
I'm trying to establish is that this whole thing is staged.
Yeah.
This whole thing is staged, and I'm trying to get you to the consequences, why this is like this. Right now, the situation, if you don't want to listen to what I've analyzed, it's okay. I can understand that.
Not that still. I just only time constraint, so I think
No,
not
that
saying,
is
yeah,
fine.
yeah, no.
So
Only,
I think what
nothing else.
happened after the attack, what happened after the
Yeah.
ISIS-K attack is America, it has.
I know you have. Alok, I know we have input, so you can speak more than hours and 2 hours on this issue. That I know. So
No, but it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to give an explanation. I understand what you're saying. So what has happened right now is everybody was sensing that Americans are not in control. With this attack, they have been left, absolutely naked. They are nowhere to go. They have been stripped naked. This is what has happened. Now, once this thing happens, everybody knows they are not in control because they were planning something and something else has come up through because of very different reasons. So what they have to do, we have been wondering why Americans are leaving this there. So the reason they are leaving all these arms there is because we also have the Northern Alliance, which can only be attacked by helicopters. And that's the reason the Black Hawks have been left there. Now, all this is done because they want Taliban to come back. And the whole idea is right now they did not know what to do. And they have suddenly floated this thing. They must have attacked. I'm not saying that they are going to lie. They must have said, okay, we have done this drone attack and the mastermind has been killed. At least the Pakistani press is saying that. And this has happened and that had happened. Nobody has the means to find out if this is true or this is not. But at least it is, they are trying to grappling to get into the driving seat once again. At least trying to save their face that they have done something. But I think everything which is happening there is a reason for it. And it is not the way we are made to see it. If you just sit down and think, you'll understand that everything has got a reason. This is a geopolitical situation. America thought it was in control. It is not in control. And they're grappling to save their face in the face of the NATO forces. And this is all, it is a staged drama. There's more to understand than what apparently is being posted to the press and what apparently is happening.
Okay. So according to your view, this is totally staged drama by Talibanis and the Americans. Am I right?
No. I'm talking about the drone attack.
Drone attack by the US.
Yeah, I don't think nothing much has happened. They had to do something, and they had to show that we are doing the taxpayer. Vandana talks about it's a bad shape. America and Joe Biden is domestically he's in bad shape. He cannot show his face in the press and all that. He's doing it. He takes the responsibility, everything. But the control is not there. They cannot control it, and it has gone out of their hands. And they had to do something. So hurriedly they did this drone attack somewhere so that they have something to say.
Okay. So Anita ji, just with this new equation developed, the US, ISIS and Taliban, do you think there any impact on India strategically and
obviously we have to be careful. We have to be careful because India is already fighting against the Al-Qaeda, Jaish-e-Mohammed and Hizbul Mujahideen. We have all seen that how smartly the Kandahar hijack has happened and Taliban was there in between. And we have left. On that time we have given 3 prisoners and Taliban was mediating on that time. That is Azhar Masood and that Kashmiri. I'm just forgetting the name of that terrorist organization. He is the chief of the Hizbul Mujahideen and he is operating from Jaish-e-Mohammed.
Yeah.
And we all know that they have the direct connection with the ISIS because when the ISIS was very active in Iraq and all the incident was going on, then our 45 workers was captive there. It was sad that they were buried in Iraq soil only. On that time, we are in talk with Taliban. Every time the government was saying that we are talking with both channels, officially also and unofficially also. Who was that unofficial gateway? That unofficial gateway was these terrorist organizations. We had tried our hard to get back our people, but we on that time we were not get successful on that mission, and that all 45 workers, they have lost their life in this ISIS bombarding and all that. So if anyone is saying that that is another terrorist group, and Haqqani is a different terrorist group, and Khorasan is a different. Khorasan is the modus operandi of ISIS, who works from the soil of the Afghanistan, and we all know the backed by the Pakistan, Al Qaeda and ISI is funding them. Taliban is giving protection over there to all these
Correct.
organizations on the soil of the Afghanistan, and so many the modus operandi of you, if you will see the modus operandi of all these terrorist organizations, they are almost same, and the mission of all these organizations is that to put the extremist Islamism on the nearby area, and we have
Okay.
to go with the Maulana Sasan. Maulana Satta is the main priority of these organizations. Ki all countries should
All the
follow the
but
Sharia law, and
uh,
Maulana will rule the country. And after one day, the whole universe will
whole will be
transform into the
Islamic.
Islamic world. This is
Islamic
the mission
State.
only.
Yeah, yeah. So, Vandana ji, just they have just I think a vision. They have the planning. They have some the conspiracy throughout the world. One day, the whole world will be the Islamic State. That's why they name ISIS. So, and ISIS sounds like that, whatever. ISIS means the terrorist organizations, how the country will be terrorized by this terrorist organization. As a fact, I can tell you the fact that about the 4,000 200 people were evacuated from Kabul during a 12-hour period on Friday, as the earlier White House said. Earlier in the day, U.S. officials said a total of approximately 5,100 Americans had been evacuated. So, with about 500 more waiting to leave, so about 600 were there, as the earlier facts was there. So after that, evacuating the all people and 13 killed, and already Biden said, "Will not forget," and like that. And you also said that statement. So with all this, I 500 to about to leave, and now today the British mission is now completed. Germany has just said 10,000 we can accept as refugees. UNHCR, UNHCR says 5 lakhs 50,000 maybe, and already they have evacuated 5 lakhs 50,000. These are all the data coming around. So the same politics of immigration, politics of displacement, and a politics of settle the Muslims in the different part of the world. How do you analyze this?
Your yesterday's subject was the Ghazwa Hind kind of thing, right?
Yeah, yeah,
We talked
yeah,
about it.
yeah, yeah.
And when we see that this is being planted, but tell me, who's going to live when these all people are? Why can't we have one continent for this religion, that they all live right there?
Already 56 countries.
No, make one continent.
They have the
There.
Arab League mission. They have already
Yeah,
Arab League mission. Yeah.
yeah. So they should all be dedicated and should be living there together with Allah, oh Akbar, like you say, I say, and everybody keeps saying that, keep chanting it. Because see, what is happening, as you mentioned, again, it will be a liability.
Yeah.
Again, it will be a liability. We have already seen what has happened to Europe. When we see the size of Europe, you see the size of US. US is big, but anything big can become small over a period of time, to be honest. When we are talking, what will happen 20 years down the road?
Yeah.
Because we have
That's
seen
a
one of the
concern for
states,
everyone
yeah, we have
who are
seen
not
one of the
Muslim.
states, Minnesota. And this is not only that they are coming from uh, international borders to this. So then they start concentrating in one suburbs, then you will see mosque coming, because is that number is also increasing. number is the population is also increasing. And in certain states, you saw who were the people responsible for 9/11, where they were from. They were getting their training, they were living in Dearborn, Michigan. And if we see the Michigan, if you drive around that area, you don't even feel that you are in part of United States of America, to be honest. Same thing, if you go to Mall of America, that's the largest US mall. If you just Google around, they have changed because Minnesota. So this is the main worry. When we say that, we are not happy about that. But what we can do? Because we can make a voice, we can make noises, but it's down the road. I may not be there tomorrow, but what's for our future generations?
Yeah.
And then they claim themselves to be the religion of peace. We are going to be having the 20th anniversary of 9/11. So we have not even learned after that. I mean,
yeah, you're right. You're right, Vandana. So just you talking about the religion of peace, Alok ji, just a very valid thing, just as Vandana ji shared.
My peace was not PEACE.
That's I'm coming. I'm coming to your point. Actually, don't worry. Just you have given the nice points. So Alok ji, just Vandana ji just stated about the Islam is a religion of peace. Note of interrogation. PEACE, or this is the religion of PIECE. What do you think? Unmute yourself. Alok ji, unmute yourself, please. Thank you.
The question which Vandana ji has raised is that why is this immigration taking place? And the fear is, in case this is the religion of peace or not. My take is that this is a geopolitical situation where religion is being used for the vested interest. That is what I think. Now, my question is that are the Afghanis going themselves? And which are these Afghanis they want to take away with them? These are the people who were working as translators, or they were working with the forces, the democratic forces which were there. So what you cannot do is leave them there, because that means you have people who work with you, who supported your ideology and your thought. You are leaving them in the hands of certain people. We are certain that they'll be killed. Or if the women are there, they'll be raped and they will be forced to marry people or they don't want, and then live life worse than animals are living in America or Europe or rest of the democratic world. So are we ready to do that, or we have this moral duty to take them back? What has UK has said that we'll not be taking more refugees or anybody, even the British the citizens, they have been left there. Same has happened with Germany. And everything has been done because Americans could not control the situation. They could not make Mr. Ghani resign, and the whole situation changed. They preponed it so that his army cannot fight the Taliban. So my question has always been there, like, why were we there in the first place? Afghans were minding their own business. Why were we there in the first place? Americans were there in the first place because the Russians came in and they didn't want Afghanistan to become a communist country. But they have no problems in it becoming an Islamic country. So if you have to choose between communism and Islamism, the choice is clear. So I don't know why today we sit and talk like what is happening and why we're doing it. We did it in the first place. Like when I say we, I'm talking on behalf of the Americans. There was no reason why they should have gone there. If I have to choose between the two societies, I'm a Democrat and I'm very much in favor of the democracy. Yeah. If I was to be forced, I would probably choose to become a Soviet rather than an Islamic country like.
I think Bangladesh is also Democrat. Actually, Chicago is the place of the Democrat. Am I right? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, got it.
No,
Yeah,
no, no,
I
no.
didn't say
Hold on
I'm
one second.
I didn't say I'm
No, no, no.
democratic. I said
Because
I'm
see what
democratic.
happened,
yeah,
Alokji, one second. The
yeah,
people, those who migrated from India, Bharat,
yeah, yeah,
when they came in here, because we're
yeah,
talking about 30 years ago, 40 years ago, so they felt
yeah,
there are only two party system here, Democratic and
yeah.
Republican.
And
So they
Republican, yeah.
thought like democracy and Democrats are, so that's why our people are more inclined towards Democrats. But
Yeah.
when we talk about ideology, the people, those who have their head on the shoulders, to be honest, those who
Okay.
can do analysis, so they
Okay.
move more towards Republicans. So it is
Okay.
not about, when we talk about the state that I live in, yes, I live in a blue state, and they
Yeah.
are trying to do anything and everything possible to make it blue all over. We've seen it,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we are
So
trying to
yeah,
counter.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
one thing, till today, every Sunday, I can share with you, there are Trump supporters, those who are coming on the street right here in Chicago, and they are
Yeah.
coming and they will want
Yeah.
him back, and especially
Wow.
in today's time.
But when, according to my reports, Chicago is a land of Democrats, as Obama is concerned
Absolutely,
that, and
absolutely.
Texas and all. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Alok ji, you just raised the point. That's why I think you are living in Spain and Europe. So I think better to ask Vandana ji. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, no,
So
I've already given my point. Like my take
yeah.
is that
Okay. Thank you. So
it
the
is
last
our
question,
moral duty to
last question to
receive
all of
them
you.
there.
Yeah, the last question to all of you. Just you have raised the 2 points, Alokji. Religion should be used for the vested interest, and I'm not talking the communism and Islamism is going to be. Just very briefly and 10 seconds, all of you. Religion should be used for vested interest or political interest or not. Let's start from the just you raised. That's why I'm asking you a direct question to Alokji.
That's it. The question is to me.
Yeah, first to you actually. You
I'm
raised the
talking
yeah.
ideally, or we're talking in the current scenario. I mean, we are not. This is a
Very
real.
brief answer. Very brief answer. Like, time is a question.
This is a real world. It ideally it should not be done, but it is being used. I mean,
Yeah.
religion is the opium of the masses. Just think of it. If they were to fight
Yeah.
with the Russians, why could they just don't? They could
Yeah.
not take an army there and fight them.
Yeah.
Why did they use the religion in the first place? Because they thought this was the easiest thing to do and create a problem in the backyard of the Russians, of the Chinese, of the Iranians. And in those days, Pakistanis were their chums and pals, and they
Yeah.
could also create some kind of problem for Indians as well, and which they did. Kashmir was a part
Okay.
of it. So in those
Yeah.
days, Americans thought that this was the best thing to do, and they utilized the
Yeah.
religion
Okay. Okay.
for their political gains.
Okay. Okay. Anita ji, I just Anita ji, religion should be used as for the vested interest or for the political gain. Should be used or not? Very briefly.
Both way, both way. It's for the vested
My
interest,
question.
and it
My
is a
question.
political tool also. It is a political tool for whole world.
No. What
Religion.
they are using. My question is, should be used or not?
Actually, your voice is not clear, Rakesh. It's very शुड बी मेरे जैसा
All
बुलंद
asking.
आवाज रखिए और बोलिए तो मजा है.
Arre. Vandana ji, just you see that today, Anita ji, how just okay, no problem. So I am asking you, just now close to the mic now. The religion should be used for the vested interest or political gains or not? Do you listen me? Hear me.
I have told you, yes, it is for political
Thank
gain.
you. Thank you. Vandana ji.
It is
Vandana ji.
for political gain. It is a tool for politicians across the world. The world want to enjoy this religious politics, and they use it for their vested interest. This is the vice versa
Okay.
relation of the religion and politics.
Okay. Okay.
And sometimes the general people, the mass of that country or that this world, they also use that religion. Yes, yes, this is my fundamental
Yeah,
right.
I got it.
Who
Got
said
it.
that
Got it.
this
Got
is
it.
who the hell this religion is fundamental right comes? The humanity is somewhere in backyard, and the religion is your fundamental right. What this fundamental right is giving you? This terrorism, this
Okay.
extremism, extremism,
Okay, Anita.
and
Okay,
the
Anita ji.
the bossism of the US.
Time is running out. Just my request is that time is running out. Just I'll take the brief with the Vandana ji. The same question to you.
It should not be. It should
Yes.
not
Yeah.
be. For
Okay.
world to be peaceful, for world to be progressive, it should not be. There should be a very thick line. It should be a wall of China in between the religion and the politics. Thank you.
So nice of you. So all of you, just thank you, all of you. Just we have discussed the relation of the ISIS USA and the Taliban, how Taliban is behaving like a good boy. I don't think he will be and they will be whatever they are, whatever the history and whatever the geography of the area, and how just within the 2 days USA has behaved with Taliban. There should be or there not be is also a matter of question. And third one, religion should not be used for the vested interest in political gains. As Vandana said, there should be the thick wall like China wall between the religion and politics. Then any country will sustain
That
on the
wall
real
has
real
also
fundamental.
destroyed. That
Okay,
wall has
okay,
fallen.
that matter of long discussion. We'll discuss in next subject. Don't worry. So nice of you just to participate in this program, and thank you very much. And just see and subscribe and watch the Global Governance News TV. Thanks to all panelists. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.